Well, welcome inside the podcast. Al, I must say that I failed you. I failed you. It's like when you go to school and you've got to tell the teacher that the dog ate the homework.
What
I
happened?
did not do my retirement homework.
As to which state is the
Correct.
best state to live in retirement?
All I did was cross a bunch of states off the list,
Yeah.
which was step one.
Yes.
And I never got to step 2, 3, or 4.
I've only got it down to 8 states right now.
Okay,
So
fair.
I didn't complete the assignment either. I have it down to. I'd like to give you my 8 states.
Yeah, please. Go for it.
And then I'll have to knock it down from there. So what I did is I immediately eliminated any states that are bad tax states.
Okay.
So I kept states.
Now, where'd you find this, by the way?
I had seen an article about this, which is what gave me the idea to begin with. So it was there was a category very tax friendly, and not tax friendly at all. So very tax friendly would mean these are states with no income tax.
Mm-hmm.
Now some of those states are no good, like Alaska. I'm not moving to Alaska,
Right, for sure.
But of those states, I have Florida, Georgia, Nevada.
Okay.
Those seem like nice states, and they don't tax your anything. There's no state income tax.
Got it.
Pennsylvania is a state that will not tax your 401k or retirement pension.
Oh, interesting.
They're the only state. Then there are other states that will not tax your Social Security.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the only states I considered.
Fair.
So I have Florida, Georgia, Nevada.
Okay.
Then I did do Pennsylvania.
Right.
That brings me to 4 states. The other
I will tell you, Nevada and Georgia are 2 that I've highlighted.
That are on your list.
Yes.
Yeah.
So far.
The other ones that made sense because they're tax friendlier
Mm-hmm.
and that seemed decent. South Carolina.
Oh, good.
Tennessee. Texas.
Texas, I like. What about Arizona?
No Arizona.
Oh.
And West Virginia.
Yeah, I'm not interested in West Virginia.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I got it down to. I also personally, I eliminated any states run by Democrats.
Okay, yes, you did tell me that.
So I pulled some of those out. So that may have been, and I didn't write down which ones were which, but if I look at Arizona, they are not a tax-friendly state or not even a
I didn't know that.
semi-tax-friendly.
I thought Arizona was a tax-friendly state. Because that's one place. So there's a couple of things that I started to write down that I would be looking for before I get to all the tax stuff.
Yeah.
One was I want to be somewhere that is going to help, whether it's arthritis or inflammation. I want to be in a dry state.
That's a good one.
Like humid. So like I actually, and I would have never thought this 10 years ago, Florida's off my list. It's just too humid. And I don't think I would do physically well there. I don't know. I'm sure Georgia's too humid too. I'm not sure. I got to check in all that. But I do have Arizona on my list. Other than that, I wanted to be within driving range of an ocean. That to me, I know my wife likes the beach, and I want by driving range, I don't mean within, get in the car in 9 hours, I can be there. I mean, within 45 minutes of a drive, I'd like to be that close to an ocean. So that's where, that's kind of where I started physically and then ocean. And then I got to get to the tax stuff and see if I can come up with something that works.
Yeah. Looking at these 8 states that I knocked it down to, I don't see myself living in Nevada. It just seems like
it's a lot of brand new communities, though.
I know. It just seems like a place that, like, if you've committed a bad crime and you're getting a fresh start,
That's
Nevada.
Las Vegas. I know what you're saying, but I do think it's such a big state that you can be nowhere near that stuff. But I hear you.
Yeah, in Florida, I'm worried about the very bad weather.
Yeah,
the dangerous weather.
Bad hurricanes. Yeah.
Georgia, I'm not sure I see myself living in Georgia. It seems like you need to have a Southern accent to live there.
So I don't know that that's true anymore, but I know there's a lot of nice golf communities in Georgia.
Yeah,
and you can be relatively close to the water, which is but the humidity could be an issue for me.
Yeah, and like, would I really move to Tennessee? It's only Nashville.
I don't think you would.
West Virginia,
and the weather's not great in Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
It's not warm.
Yeah.
Like when I was there, we went in August. It was fine. It was hot. It was humid. But it gets cold in the winter.
In West Virginia.
You're not moving to West Virginia.
I'm not moving there either. So really mine have come down to this, it looks like. South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Pennsylvania. Texas. Would I move to Texas?
I love Texas. I have you been there?
No, I've not spent any real time there.
I'm not saying you're moving to Arlington. I'm not at all, but Arlington is so built
Like
up.
Dallas.
It is really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. That whole Dallas Fort Worth area I think it's terrific.
Yeah.
And that has nothing to do with being a Cowboy fan. It's just everything's new. And they're building. It's cool out there. It's different.
Yeah.
It's hot as hell in the summer, but it is nice.
Yeah. I was impressed with that Pennsylvania thing where they will not tax my 401k. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I mean, you still get the federal tax on it. But like New Jersey will tax your 401k depending on, I guess, how
New
much
Jersey
you're
taxes
earning.
your ass.
Yeah. It's an ass tax.
Oh, God.
I think New Jersey, it's 4 to 10%.
Is it really?
Depending, I guess, on how much you're
saddens
taking in.
me, and I like this exercise, but what saddens me is that's the stage of life we're in, that we're actually contemplating this stuff.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Well, like Pennsylvania seems like not that exciting of a state either.
Why? But why is it any different than anywhere else?
It's not, but if you're gathering up your belongings and moving, it should be for a cool place like Arizona, right?
Yes, I understand.
Florida.
So that's more reputation, and yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah.
What about Delaware? Delaware didn't show up on the list?
No, Delaware is
I thought Delaware was a good state to retire to. I actually had a conversation
Delaware
about Delaware.
will not tax your Social Security.
Okay.
But they are a very big Democrat state, so I
so they were off your list. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. But they will not tax your Social Security.
Got it.
Which is nice. I was always told Social Security wouldn't be there when I retired.
Yeah, Social Security will be there. They've been saying that for 30 years.
That is true.
And it's still there.
Still there, Jerry?
It's still there. Matter of fact, you can even get, if you log in, which I have, I've made an account, you can actually get an estimate of what it will be.
Yes.
At certain ages.
Yeah.
So that's always interesting.
It's interesting to look into that, like how they come up with that number, and they base it on, I think 30
rolling years. Is that
30
what it is?
years, or your top 30 years of earnings.
Okay,
something like that. It's either 30 or 35, and then they go from there. But
not bad,
not bad, Jerry. As I was walking my dog in the
that must have been lovely this morning.
Freezing temperatures.
Oh my God.
And the rain over the weekend. My internal dialogue is not good. It's a lot of
F-bombs,
anger at myself. And
yes,
I do think that adopting a dog and realizing that was a mistake has hindered my ability to make other big decisions.
I would agree with that.
Because I don't trust my decision maker.
Correct. You also don't want to do anything because you don't want to leave the dog alone for too long.
Right.
You got to go put it to doggy daycare.
Yes.
It's a pain in the ass. It's a hell of a commitment and a pain in the ass.
So I was trying to think, and hear me out here, Jerry. You have 2 children.
I do.
I was trying to think. Considering a child, a baby, I'm going to say a baby, that's not a special needs baby. This is a baby who does not have any particularly special needs than another baby.
Okay.
A healthy baby, not special needs baby, but a baby. Would I be better taken care of? Would I prefer to take care of a baby or a dog?
Well, the baby becomes self-resilient? No.
Yeah, but I'm saying in the era that it's just a ball of baby.
Oh no, the year's hard as hell.
Yeah.
So it's really hard. I mean, having an infant that, like the dog or like the animal, can't really talk to you.
Yes.
And
they
trying
can't communicate.
To understand the signs and what's going on with it physically is, I would say, some of the scariest and curious and puzzling times of your life. And when you bring, like, for instance, I remember there was, I'm going back, obviously, back to 2004 when Matthew was born. But, all of a sudden, everything's fine. Next thing you know, he's burning up. What the hell just happened? Like, we're so safe. We do everything right.
Yeah.
How could he possibly be sick? And you're rushing to the pediatrician for them to give it, infant Advil or whatever they give him. I forget, to get the temperature down. And you got to do this and that. Then all of a sudden, there's one day he just decides he doesn't want to eat anymore. Why? He can't tell you. Is there something wrong with his stomach? Does he not feel well? Is it a tooth? Does he have a disease? Like, you can't get answers. And so all you can do is rely on your doctor. And I would say, for a mom, the gut feel of what she thinks is going on. And you just You hope you're doing everything the right way. It's very difficult, but the difference with the baby as opposed to the dog is in year 10 of the dog still can't talk to you and still wants it when it wants it, doesn't give a damn what you say.
Yeah.
The baby at 10 has been talking to you for 8 years.
True.
And can actually communicate with you and have a relationship that's a lot different than the animal.
Do you think we'll get to a point, they always talk about AI, that you could have a baby that's like 2 months old and you're like, why is this baby not eating?
No.
And then it's crying and the AI will tell you why the baby is crying, what it needs?
No.
That would be cool.
No.
Hmm.
If we get there, that means it's part baby, part robot. No.
Even if it's just a machine that knows the cry and can interpret the cry to mean this baby's uncomfortable.
No, I say no. Well, all right, yes, from that standpoint, because I do think even a parent can sometimes tell the difference between a cry for attention as opposed to a cry from pain. Now, what that pain, I don't know where it comes from, but yeah, that might be possible. But what we're not going to get to is a point where AI tells you what the baby's thinking and what the baby needs. I don't
that
believe
would be
that.
so cool.
I do not believe that.
If we could get that for babies and dogs and cats, like you would love to know what your cats are thinking.
I guess
sometime.
My cats are really good. I don't really worry about them.
Yeah, I guess the difference too, also with a baby versus a dog. If my dog doesn't eat for 2 days, I just feel like, who knows? You got to get that. If that your baby's not eating for 2 days, you got to get that figured out immediately.
Yeah, I would. If your dog doesn't eat for a few days, I would actually take them to the vet and figure out why they're not eating.
Yeah, I'm like, this dog will catch up.
Could have something lodged in its colon.
It could.
I mean, my God.
Yeah. But yeah, like you don't have to take your baby out to poop, but you have other concern. Like if a baby does, you really are more concerned about your baby.
Yes.
If things are like, that's weird. Why is the baby doing this?
All right.
Or I could say, why is the dog limping? I'd be like, I'll give it a couple days and see
what happens.
Yeah.
Anytime it's got a shard of glass in its paw and you have no idea. When we lived in Brick, when Matthew was like, I don't know, 3 months old, right when Kim essentially, when she first had him, she took the 3 months off like normal, but then she went back into the office and it wasn't long. I think she worked 6 months. She was going before she started working from home a couple of days a week, stopped going into the office, and then ultimately just quit altogether just to be with him. But there was about a 4 or 5 month period where I was working the overnight. I would get home. I would take an hour to a 90-minute nap, wake up. She would go to work and I had him all afternoon, all day. And then when she would get home, I would take a nap again, which is why it was so difficult doing those hours. But I remember one particular morning, I wake up, she goes to work. He takes a dump in his diaper. Okay. I changed a million of them. Not a big deal. And I remember opening this one and I was mortified. It was green. And I mean incredible Hulk green. And I was like, oh my God, my baby's got it. What is this? He's got a disease. I was panicked. Like, what is
green
this?
Poop? Yeah.
How is this? So I don't know. I guess we were texting. I don't really remember, but I remember calling her and she goes, oh, I forgot to tell you, he ate a whole bunch of like spinach and peas last night for dinner. I'm like, yeah, that would have helped because I was like, what?
Yeah, what is this?
What the hell kind of a virus does he have that this is what's coming out? And it was like soupy and it was awful.
Ooh.
Yeah, dude, it was terrible. But as it turned out, it was part of what he ate the night before. And so all was fine. But it's freaky.
Yeah, definitely freaky.
Really is.
Yeah, I also thought like if I left for work at 3 a.m. and returned at noon.
Yeah.
And I left a baby in the house
Can't do
by
that.
itself.
You'd go to jail.
Right. I can leave my dog that way.
There's advantages.
That's an advantage.
That absolutely is. You don't need someone to watch the dog. It takes care of itself in certain aspects.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean.
Although I can't entertain my dog with an iPad, where I feel like you couldn't entertain maybe not a baby with an iPad. Not a
baby, but I would say when they get to like that 8-9 month where when they're really stimulated by movement and.
Then you can.
Yeah, probably. I've always said, and we had a caller last week when I did that hour with G. Remember the caller that called in the girl? So they're going getting
having a baby.
Yes,
wanting some advice from you guys.
And to me, that's so. If that's the advice to every guy, the women too, but the women seem to like the infants. I mean, that phase for them is is amazing.
Very exciting.
I will tell you, for the men, it's hard because we don't have the motherly instinct. The moms are, in my experience, I'm not saying all moms, but in my experience, the moms are overprotective, which is where I think a lot of issues with the mother-in-law and their moms come into play, where they try and do too much, and then your wife gets a little protective of the baby and how we're doing things. It's hard. That first year for a guy I think, is very difficult. After that, once they start communicating and crawling and moving, it is a freaking blast. First year's hard though.
Yeah, and I would say first year, first baby, right? Because you
Yeah, but
really
the
don't
second,
know.
but even even when he was born, like that first year is hard. The infant year is really difficult, and I don't. And I mean, I've said it to them. I enjoy it nearly as much as years, 1 to now. That
Right.
first 12 months is, and it's not the first. It's like the first 7, 8 months. I would say is just Then they don't want to sleep. Why don't they want to sleep? You ate. Go to sleep. They don't want to sleep. Oh, it's not easy.
This is why you have to be young when you have babies.
Yeah, I would say as you get older, it's probably more taxing on you. Sure. Yeah, I would say so.
Well, just the sleep, right? People don't sleep much when you
Not a
have a new
lot.
baby.
Not a
Isn't
lot.
it annoying? Was it annoying like when you would hear from people that would say, "Oh, my baby sleeps all night long." You would hear that
Yeah.
occasionally.
Yeah, I mean, we had a couple of friends like that, but we also had friends where they had triplets that didn't sleep.
Triplets, yeah.
Triplets. So we kind of saw from both sides, and even my younger one, he was a brutal sleeper the first year, and then something clicked and he would sleep for 12 hours. It's like, what the hell just happened? You went from 2 hours up, 2 hours up, 2 hours up to 12 hours. Like, is he okay? He's all right. It just clicked finally.
Yeah, my sister has twins. They're like in their 20s now, but at the time, yeah, one of them would be sleeping, one would not.
Right.
One would be willing to eat, one would not.
You get no break.
There was no break. No, she had both my mother and her mother-in-law at the
Mhm.
time to help. But even still, I mean, that's like, and then if you added a triple baby in there,
Oh, sure. That's hard. Like I said, we have friends who have triplets. They're now in college, and that was just she's constantly feeding. It's like by the time the third one would be done, she'd get like 30 minutes to shut her eyes, and the first one was up already.
she was doing breastfeeding.
I don't know the answer to that. I'm not sure. I don't remember. It's 20 years ago. I don't remember.
Do you remember, were you breastfed?
I have no idea. I never asked.
Yeah, I actually recently asked. I was not. I think that was an era where they were told that the formula is very good and even better than breastfeeding.
We did we didn't do breastfeeding. We did formula, and so far so good.
Yeah, we all made it. I mean, I'm a perfect example, Jerry. I was drinking formula. I'm fine.
You're perfect. There you go.
Yeah.
It is it's an interesting stage though, that's for sure. The infant.
Yeah, the breastfeeding is weird though too, because like my younger sister had her youngest one. He's 15 now, but he had his tongue wasn't
didn't develop.
No, that that tendon under the tongue. His tongue was too short to grab the nipple.
Wow.
So I don't think. No, he had to have it cut.
You're kidding.
Yeah, you had to go in and get it, snip it. So that the tongue is. So like, what would happen if that was not even a procedure that we did as people now? You just always have
becomes
a tiny
an amphibian. I don't know.
An amphibian.
I don't know. These are things that have been learned through hundreds of years.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a good question.
When do you suppose we started cutting off the foreskin of baby boys? That's a weird one too, right?
I don't know. And painful, I would think.
I would think so.
And that's another one. You've got to watch that, because if you don't, it can reconnect.
What?
And then you have to cut it again.
Wait a minute. The foreskin can like rejuvenate?
Yeah, like when you circumcise, if you don't, I remember, I forget it was Vaseline, I guess, to kind of keep it, lubricated. And if you just like abandon it, like, oh, well, he's taken care of. And then you just, the skin will adhere to the. Yeah.
You would think we shouldn't cut the skin off because we were born with the skin on the penis.
Yeah, that is true. But I think it's more sanitary though, I believe.
And this culture, we cut the.
Yeah.
You ever see one that's not been circumcised?
I have not.
On an adult?
No.
It is weird looking. Looks like a
How many times have
sausage.
you seen an uncircumcised penis? And whose was it?
No, I've seen like in
Oh,
you know,
like
like
adult movies?
yeah, like an
Like
adult.
porn?
Yeah, they'll see it be like an uncircumcised. It's weird, and then it pulls back on the. It just pulls out. It's weird.
I gotcha.
And you're right though. You got to keep that clean.
You do have to keep it clean. I think bacteria can build up in there. Scunge.
Yeah,
It's like, ugh.
schmegma they call it.
It's gross. It's just
God.
nasty. So if you're out there and you're uncircumcised, hey, good for you. But,
Yeah,
that's not what we did.
yeah. And I don't know anyone personally that is uncircumcised
I don't. Well,
unless they hadn't
are
told
you
me.
asking?
I would expect to be told this on Thanksgiving, Jerry.
Like, do you know for a fact that Eddie's circumcised?
No.
Neither do I. So you could be working with a guy who's got schmegma.
All these years, I'm working with
And
uncircumcised Eddie
And, you know,
Scazzeri.
I don't know. Not something I would ask him. You know, if Boomer is, I wouldn't ask him that question. Or G.
I think I saw Boomer's penis though in the locker room when he got naked after a softball game.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
And it looked more like a
but I looked so quick because I didn't want to stare. But I think I would have noticed had it been, encased like a sausage.
Uncut.
Yeah,
I
uncut.
gotcha.
An uncut thing.
So, like, where's this coming from? Are you thinking about adopting?
No. I was mainly just thinking about my dog.
Thinking about a younger woman having a
I was not
child?
thinking about adopting or having a natural baby. No, I was really just going like, would I be more annoyed with a dog or a baby? Because I'd be like, the only thing, because at the moment it was freezing cold and raining.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't have to bring a baby out to poop.
That is
But then
very
all
true.
these other things come
there's
to
a lot.
mind. A lot of the other actual.
I tell you what's really crazy is I remember when Matthew was born thinking the financial responsibility now that you take on
Yeah.
is enormous. Now, I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. Like, you'll see these shows, oh, when you have a kid, it's going to cost you $4 million.
In the first 2 years alone.
Yeah, all right. Over the span of 25 years,
Yeah.
it does cost a lot. But you're obviously not putting that all up front. It's not like you're buying a car, for Christ's sake. But it's a financial commitment as much as anything. And I do remember one point, especially then when Joseph was born, like, oh my gosh, we're gonna do this thing. We're starting again. So it
Two expensive babies.
like it restarts the clock as to when you assume they go to college, when you start getting that money back.
Yeah.
And what's really crazy is that all these years have gone by, 20 years now, and I'm probably 7 years away from that happening. And I remember thinking at the time, well, I'm going to be old, like when he's out of college. And now he's a freshman in high school. I was like, I'm kind of getting old. Like, that time it's just weird. I remember saying, like, I don't want to get there. I don't want to rush to that because it means I'm going to be like 60 or close to 60.
Right.
And here I am going to be 51. And it's, that sucks.
Yeah, that's interesting.
No, not really. It stinks.
Well, it's weird though they say about like how expensive it is to have a baby, right?
Yeah.
So like let's say a baby costs you. What would you say a baby costs every year when it's a baby?
Oh, dude. I mean, if you're getting formula,
Yeah,
and you're not breastfeeding,
and diapers,
very
expensive.
all sorts of.
I think a
cleaning
baby's
products.
$5,000 a year, more than $5,000 a year, $6,000 a year.
It's a lot.
Say $6,000 a year.
But it's more than that because as they get older, they eat more.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, what
That's
is
true.
your food bill? Would you say per week?
$100.
Is it that much?
Yeah.
You're 100?
Probably.
So I would say we are up to, Kim doesn't go to Costco every week, but probably every other week. So every other week she goes to Costco and spends between $250 and $350. So the round, just say $250. That's $500 a month just at Costco. And she's $250 a week at the supermarket. If it's just me and her, we ain't spending that.
Yeah.
But my kids don't stop eating.
They do eat a lot. Yeah.
So,
at that
like,
age.
The food bill increases, the medical bills. That's the other thing you got to put into the equation. The amount of medical bills and copays that you have, it's a lot. And if there's ever any medical issues, which we have had, you get hit with a lot.
Do you think though, sometimes when we spend money every month, a little bit of the month, and and people will look back and go, oh, if you didn't have that expense, you would have an extra $25,000.
No, I don't believe that. You spend it out somewhere
exactly.
else. No,
like it doesn't.
That's not true.
Yeah, that's
It
what I'm saying.
could be.
Like if it like let's say it costs to raise a baby from an infant to 18 years old. Let's say that costs $300,000.
Sure. That you didn't invest $300,000 into the S&P 500 index fund.
Yeah, like because I didn't have a baby, I don't now have an extra $300,000.
Exactly.
You
You live
right,
your
it's
life.
just
You live your life. You spend it the way you want to spend it. You do it what you have to. So no, I completely agree. Because
Yeah.
I can make that case too. I've made, knock on wood, I've made very good money for the last, 10 years or so. You'd never know it though, because our expenses are so high. If I didn't have kids and I made this money, I know myself. I probably would have spent it going to here and there and season tickets, flying back and forth to Dallas. I would have spent it in other ways.
Right.
I think now in theory, I do think that's true because there are some very disciplined financial people out there. I'm not one of them. I believe in I've got it. What are we doing with it?
You're going to live.
I do. I told you, I am reliant on my pension, Social Security. Kim and I are lucky enough to have a couple of real estate investments and the equity in our house. If those 4 things aren't enough to get me through the end of life, then what are we doing?
You know what sucks about that too? Like, let's say you didn't spend your money and you saved everything.
Yeah, a lot of people do that.
Yeah. And then you get sick, you go to a nursing home, they take all your money anyway, and then they start paying through the government.
Yeah. After they bleed you dry.
Correct. That's got to be the worst.
And I'm not saying that's why I do what I do.
Yeah.
But I do believe in having experiences as you go, because one day you can wake up and something really bad could happen. And then what'd you do? You just wasted an entire life of nothing?
Right.
I have a friend of mine who, really good guy, was one of these grinders in the financial world, would be up and out for the train at 6 a.m. and wouldn't get home till 7 or 8 p.m. Has since stopped working to take a break for about a year now. And I don't know how much longer he's going to do before he starts his own thing. And he has said he has looked back and he realizes he can't get all that time he lost with his kids, missing all their youth sports games and stuff like that. And luckily it's not too late and he's making that his priority right now. But like 9-10 years, he missed all his kids' games and school functions. And that's the one thing I would say that I'm proud of, that I've never really missed anything. And I feel like I have those experiences and all the trips we've taken and stuff like that. So to each his own.
Yes.
But just understand time goes quick.
It does. And our time has gone very quickly here, Jerry.
You think we get to 1,000 views on this one?
On this one, definitely. Hell yeah.
Do me a favor, when you put in the subject line, put Alan Christ almighty. Alan Jerry, talk boobs, butts, penis.
Ooh, okay. Alan Jerry break down uncircumcised penises on YouTube.
There you go.
All right, let's do the warm-up show. We'll be back here tomorrow. You'll out tomorrow. I'll be here with CeeLo tomorrow.
I got to go to State College now.
You'll be back Wednesday.
Yes.
So